You ever see someone light a fire then act shocked when it burns the whole house down? Yeah, that's basically Rachel's Zegler. Right now, first Disney Snow White remake was already hanging by a thread. Then along came South Park casually drop-kicking it off a cliff, and the best part, they did it with their signature "we don't care if you offended" type of energy classic. But while Rachel was still doing damage control over the movie's controversies, South Park just came and roasted the entire film and her, and left Disney scrambling like someone accidentally clicked reply all at a company meltdown. And trust me, this doesn't end with a few memes and jokes. South Park already roasted Snow White and Rachel into oblivion. Will you check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there? And now they're reportedly cooking up a new DEI special. So stick around, because this is a full-blown Hollywood disaster unfolding in real time, and South Park just decided to add insult to injury. But to really appreciate this train wreck, we need to rewind a bit, because Disney's been having an identity crisis bigger than your cousin after their third gap year. Every move they've made lately screams, "Please like us." They've been reshuffling characters, rewriting plots, and basically treating beloved classics like DIY projects from Pinterest, except, you know, the ones that look good until you actually make them. Cue Snow White, because the remake's been raising eyebrows since day one, from casting Rachel Zegler to reimagining the story to pretty much axing the romance angle that made the original famous. Had the controversy about the dwarfs, and fans were furious. Then South Park saw the chaos and said, "Hold my beer." So here's where it gets good. South Park dropped their join in the Pandaverse special, and oh boy, they did not hold back. They basically said what the internet's been yelling for months: "Oh, not again." Yeah, only this time it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women, complaining about the patriarchy, just with the classic South Park roast that burns hotter than fire. And so Cotman and the gang were transformed into grown women of color as a parody of Hollywood's obsession with ticking diversity boxes. And let's be real, Disney practically invited this roast with the way they've been handling Snow White. The special dragged Disney for turning authentic stories into hollow checkbox exercises. South Park's message was loud and clear: congrats Disney, you're so busy pandering you forgot to tell a good story. Brutal. And Rachel Zegler, she was front and center in that roast. Don't get me wrong, people are all for diversity in movies, but the way Disney's been going about it feels less like a genuine inclusion and more like just checking boxes on a corporate to-do list, which made Snow White an easy target. From the start, the literal name of the character is Skin as White as Snow, so when Disney cast Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, in the role, they knew it would spark debate. But the controversy wasn't just about casting. Disney gutted the entire essence of the story: no prince, no romance, and the dwarf swap with CGI in a live remake. I know, make it make sense, right? All of this to avoid reinforcing stereotypes and to be more culturally sensitive and inclusive, aiming for a modern reimagining of the story that aligns with contemporary values. Well, the public didn't take well to this, and South Park saw this disaster brewing and just couldn't resist their parody. Basically screamed, if you remove everything that made Snow White Snow White, what's even left besides a marketing campaign, that is? And listen, South Park doesn't miss when they smell a corporate pandering opportunity. This was like candy to them, and Rachel didn't exactly do herself any favors here either. When you land a role as iconic as Snow White, maybe, just maybe, you show a Little respect to the original Nah. Rachel went full speed into controversy mode, trashing the original story in interviews, calling it outdated, weird, and basically implying that the prince was a walking red flag. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her, never mind telling like half the country not to watch the movie. I don't need your business, thanks. Real smooth Rachel. She even boasted that the new Snow White isn't about love at all, saying the prince's role is barely there. All of Anders' scenes could get cut. Who knows, it's Hollywood, baby. So fans were furious, critics were confused, and South Park, they were already writing the script for the roast to viewers. Rachel started sounding less like someone proud of reviving a classic and more like someone embarrassed to be a part of it. And that attitude practically handed South Park comedic gold on a silver platter. And of course South Park couldn't ignore Disney's bizarre decision to reimagine the Seven Dwarfs. Gone were the charming, distinct characters we all grew up with. Instead, Disney offered us a random mix of diverse friends who looked like they stumbled in from a failed Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Fans felt like Disney was trying too hard to dodge controversy, only to land smack in the middle of it. South Park ran with this, mocking how classics are being vetted to avoid offending anyone, while ironically offending everyone. The backlash was so bad Disney had several reshoots and added the dwarfs back in using CGI, which then just stirred up even more controversy. Now you would think if the Little Mermaid remake taught Disney anything, it would be that controversy kills the vibe. Sure, Harley Bailey's Ariel faced some backlash, but the film mostly stuck to its roots. Snow White, though this thing isn't just updated, it's almost unrecognizable. South Park noticed that too. They saw Disney's diversity plus modern twists equal profit formula and roasted it straight into orbit. And let's not pretend Rachel's snarky interviews about dumping the love story didn't give South Park a full buffet of material. They basically turned Rachel's dismissive comments into the comedic equivalent of the public service announcement: if you hate the story this much, maybe don't star in it. So this left Disney panicking because execs know South Park's mockery sticks. Fans aren't just laughing, they're nodding along. Rumors were swirling that Disney even tried reaching out to South Park's parent company to tone things down, but it seems that South Park loves when people do that. It only makes them go harder. Remember when they roasted Scientology and Tom Cruise? Yeah, they thrived on that drama. Disney trying to hush them is like adding rocket fuel to an already raging fire. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse for Disney, South Park is reportedly cooking up a brand new DI special that might arrive as soon as August, continuing the jabs from Pandverse. So this is basically South Park saying we're not done with you yet. Apparently they're planning to use Snow White's box office performance as fuel to roast Rachel's Zegler and Disney even harder. And let's be real, everyone knows how badly the movie flopped, so when this drops it's going to be brutal. So people are hyped because this movie's flop basically handed South Park a golden roast platter like it was buffet night. So how is Rachel handling all of this? Not well. Insiders claim she's fuming behind the scenes. She expected applause for bringing a bold modern twist to Snow White, not headlines calling her out for ruining a classic and pushing a woke agenda. So instead of red carpets and praise, she's getting memed and roasted by the most savage cartoon on television. She's reportedly annoyed that people think she only got the role to check a diversity box, and South Park poking fun at her didn't just pour salt in the wound, it dumped the entire salt shaker. So between Disney's Fumbling PR plays Rachel's fiery interviews and South Park savage Pandaverse special. It all collided into a glorious meltdown that's got Hollywood on the edge and fans grabbing popcorn. So, will Disney learn anything from this disaster, or will they double down and keep modernizing classics until there's nothing left to modernize? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, but until next time, keep your classics classic, your satire sharp, and remember, if South Park's roasting you, you probably messed up somewhere along the way. Peace.